Domo domo, what is up, everybody? This is official Jujutsu Kaisen translator Steady, always at the ready. It is Shonen Jump Sunday, not to be mistaken with Shonen Sunday. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good middle of the night, or wherever you are. Thanks for joining us for another manga lounge. Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 95 today. And 95 just sounds crazy, you know. We're finally getting to that point, almost 100 chapters. So it's going to be exciting. Definitely, I will thinking about maybe doing a top 5 chapters or top however many chapters of the first 100 chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen video. So if you are interested in anything like that, definitely do check it out. Once it does come out in about a month and a half, I guess. So be sure to subscribe if you're interested in something like that. We're running a special right now. Subscribing to the channel is free for a limited time only. You see, I can't even say it with a straight face. A lot of exciting things to cover. Mainly kind of powers, definitely what we're going to be talking about. Ino's powers, we finally get to see it in action. We get to kind of see a little bit more about what's going on with the curse users, Mr. Mustachio Awasaka. And if you've been following my Twitter or my Instagram, if that's a better place for y'all, definitely have trivia and stuff on there. So if you want to see a lot of in-depth stuff, and definitely that cliffhanger ending, it means a lot. There's a lot of kind of twists and turns that can happen now. So alright, so let's get right into it, shall we? So we first start off with this awesome little scene with Nanami and Ino in a yakiniku. Yakiniku is you know, like a grilled meat store, or I guess Korean barbecue, as it might be more widely known in other places. But this is kind of, most likely we can assume by the content that this is definitely at least before the Mahito and Junpei incident, if not even before Yuji came into the mix, because this is kind of the precursor to Nanami taking Ino as sort of an apprentice, right? But Nanami definitely shows his confidence in Ino. He's like, hey, look, you don't need me. You're really strong and you'll be semi-grade 1 in no time, which is saying a lot, just based on his powers. But then he's saying that, you know, so it's kind of suggesting that, you know, definitely has the potential for grade 1. And this is kind of a good maybe time to kind of mention also that I think special grade definitely is a different tier, in the sense of, like, you're basically either born a special grade or not. Because from what we've seen so far with, like, Geto and Yuta and Gojo, they're just like, they're born special grade. I don't think you can necessarily train up to be a special grade. But anyways, we'll hopefully find out a little bit more about that later. And then, so, you know, they have this little chit chat, and then we're back up on the roof, and then we left off with, with his mask. And then so it basically makes him into a medium, a spiritual medium, and he's able to conduct seances. So he's able to summon beings from the dead, and he specifically are beasts, and auspicious beasts. So I had to do a little bit of research on this. It's mainly Chinese based auspicious beasts, kind of like mythological beasts, if you will, right? So in this, we specifically have Kaichi, Kirin, Reiki, and Ryu. So Kaichi is the one that he uses the horn, the shooting homing missile horn. Kaichi is kind of very basically explained is a kind of a Chinese unicorn almost. It's kind of known for its horn, and kind of like a dog-like beast, if you will. There's different renditions and stuff of it, but and then Reiki is a spiritual tortoise. So we also see later on in this chapter when he uses Reiki, he gets this water kind of indicative of the tortoise kind of power, right? And I'm assuming there's probably more to it than just that. And then Kirin is, if you've ever had a Kirin beer, it's the very same Kirin. It's kind of a famous, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like a deer-esque kind of deer dragon kind of thing. And then last we have Ryu, which is dragon. And there's definitely more on this as well. If you see this, remember this, if you see this Ryu on the panel here, we've seen this Ryu before, we've seen this dragon before, and I'll explain later on in the video the significance that this has. So we see him do the Reiki, and he says understand the facts and control the self. Now this is something that he learned from Nanami, kind of thinking more logically and just kind of being very focused on the facts instead of running on emotions, which is why kind of approached Nanami, it seems, because is probably much more kind of like runs on emotions, but he knows in battle you have to be much more logical. And then we have this little fight. We see Fushiguro and Itadori fighting side by side. So cool. But I like this little comment that Fushiguro makes. He's like, hey, to be honest, like fighting alongside Itadori, it might be easier if I just did this alone, because I'm in danger of getting punched by this guy. Which definitely kind of has portrays Itadori, although he's grown a lot, as someone who's still very rough around the edges, right? Which is to be expected. It's only a few months since he's been to Jujutsu High, assuming. But yeah, now this is the very interesting point with Awasaka here. I love this face, by the way, on page 10. Just this one panel of his face, like just the drawing itself, but just kind of what it indicates as well. Like, no, you can't do anything to me. Now I explained on my Twitter that Awasaka is most likely very based on Tanuki. Tanuki is kind of like a Japanese raccoon dog. If you've ever played Super Mario with the tail and the ears, that's the very same Tanuki. Or if you've seen a Ghibli movie as well with the raccoons, I don't know what they call them in English, but and Tanuki are very famous for their shape shifting, for one, also their illusions and kind of just mischievousness in general. But I have a feeling that Awasaka's powers has something to do with illusions. The fact that he's taking no damage, it's not that he's taking no damage. I think he's actually creating an illusion as to what's, and kind of tricking them. And I will have a separate video for this power specifically, because I have a lot more to talk about as well in terms of the theory. So his power as well as Ino's. So if you're interested in the powers, definitely stay tuned for those videos. But then, we see Fushiguro throwing out all the Shikigami. He's got the divine dog, now Kon, totality. I remember the white and the black one combined, as well as the snake. So it's actually 3 Shikigami in one right now. And then we also have the Well's Unknown Abyss, as we call it, found out in volume 2. That's what we're going with, the frog here, or toad. Frog. No, it's actually toad. But again, so we see the toad throw Awasaka into that bridge thing, but this, again, the way that it's paneled, you don't really see him, right? So it's, again, I think he's creating this illusion. Like, he is taking damage, but he's kind of psyching the opponent out by creating this illusion. But yeah, they're having trouble with him. But then we kind of, towards the end of the chapter here, we have Ino fighting against this unnamed Mohawk guy. the grandson, right, the grandchild. But then Granny Ogami is in the back just doing her thing. You're like, what's going on? She's still praying. It's more than just the, you know, I thought it was just her protecting the curse, just like keeping the curtain, I should say, the curtain alive. But then we found out that she's got something else going on. And sure enough, we see the grandkid, he swallows something. I first thought it was a pill, but kind of looking closer now, I think it might be like a scroll or a charm or something. But anyways, doesn't matter because boom, on page 18, Toji Zenin. And you Papaguro fans out there, congratulations, because it looks like we're going to be getting another little taste. I mean, he couldn't be gone for long, right? Even if it's not actually him, but sort of a summoned version of him. But either way, it's him. So it's interesting because at the beginning of towards the beginning of the chapter, where is it? Yeah. So on page 6, we see the grandkid and Granny Ogami talking to like, Grandma, that just now. Yes. What are the chances? And when you read that, you're like, what does that even mean? But it's foreshadowing to the fact that Granny Ogami most likely is able to use seance powers as well, similar to Ino. Thus, what are the chances? 2 people meeting up that have this kind of seance power. And it seems that maybe Granny Ogami is able to use seances maybe for people. And then Ino does like beasts and stuff. Although it might not just be exclusive, but from what we see so far. And this is also why I wanted to mention the fact that the dragon, the Ryu, is very important as well, because remember, back in the flashback arc, Toji Zenin took out that Ryu. Remember that big slash? So the Ryu died, but now that's why this granny's able to summon this Ryu as well, because it's dead. So she's conducting a seance, right? So now remember, it is Ryu versus Toji Zenin Part 2 pay-per-view, baby. So, which is a really cool kind of real cool kind of a Part 2 thing going on here. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens now. So 2 seance peoples against each other, and remember, Toji took out the Ryu pretty easily, so it's kind of scary to think, but you know, he doesn't have the sword this time, so we'll see. He doesn't have any weapons, but he's probably pretty deadly just hand to hand as well. So, but yeah, that is another chapter, another amazing chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen in the books. Like I said, we're getting close to that chapter 100, and you know, Akutami Sensei definitely knows that as well. So I'm pretty sure they've got something real dangerous up their sleeves coming up. I can feel it. But yeah, it's we're getting into this action, a lot of things unfolding, a lot of new faces, familiar faces, a lot of powers being revealed. It's very cool, man. I'm super excited. So can't wait for chapter 90, 96, 97, and further on. All right, so we'll see you in that translator theories video, but until then, you know how we do. Mata yoroshiku.